Good evening. It's awfully late tonight, and I'm really out of it. I'm not really. As you can hear my old ladies in the background playing some zombies. But for tomorrow's market, I want to see for a general pullback and possibly even a Fibonacci retracement. See where the bottom's at. So you want to tag the low before this flip, and then the high of the day itself, or at least the trend. And this will give you your general areas to look. So I got the 51, alright, the 50 and the 61.8. Another area you'd be looking for a possible bounce was be the 72.68 or something like that. So 582.28 bottom end. This would be a final bounce, but then you're into this demand zone, so I'd generally be watching the demand zone more than 72.6, whatever. One thing you could really watch for though, before we get down to that level, is a bounce at 584.75 or 583.73. Those areas would be just general strength in the market itself. This 584 would be an area I would be watching to bounce myself. If not, I would be looking for more of a break of 588.96. Market can break above 588.96 or just 589 in general. If we can break above 589, then we could be watching for more upside into the market, and then possibly getting into this 594.39 resistance line, which would also be triggering into the top end of the channel. And usually when charts go into the top end of the channels, you're going to be watching for a reject unless it breaks out. So, but for tomorrow, generally two plays is what I'm trying to get at. Is watch for a reject between 587.92 and 587.49, or even this 587.25. Watch for a reject or weakness in the market, and bearish engulfing in this general area would be on point entry, with the high end of the bearish engulfing being your stop loss, or even a top wicking candle, kind of like this one right here, one like that but red, or even as the current one as it is in this general area, would be a signal for a move down with confirmation of a bearish engulfing right next to it. So that would be your entry, triggering our price targets being at 584.75, 583.73. At this point, you would trim once, trim twice, and then close out of your contract, or trend twice. But for tomorrow, just watch price action between 587.92 and 587.25, and see if prices push up above that level. You're going to want to watch for the top end of the supply zone at 588.96, and a break above that would trigger another move to the upside, going to 594.39. Now, if we were to lose this bottom end of demand, though, let me zoom this up at 581. If we were to lose 581 in general, I'd be watching for a downside play into this bottom end of the channel, roughly between 570.72 and 571.72. Watch for that bottom end of the channel. If we were to get down to that general area, we could possibly even go in for a gap fill at this 567.53, which is the high of the day before the gap. But this would be a great move actually. But first, we're going to want to see how price reacts between the demand and the supply zone, so that way we know have more information if we're going to come down to this 567.53. For IWM, just like SPY, I would want to see what happens in this 208.05 to 209.61 range. If we were to push up or at least hold this trend line support, then we could definitely see a break of 209.61. If we break 209.61, you would be watching for a price target of 211.19. On the other hand, if we were to lose 207.97, or at least show weakness in the market and downtrend momentum, then we would be looking for a gap fill at the 202.28. Another possible area we could definitely watch. Below that is at 250. Given that this is a supply zone, there's probably a few contracts that got forgotten about, and they end up getting filled. Now, if we were to break above 211.19, let me expand this a little bit. If we were to break above 211.19, then be watching for a 214.76, which is the bottom of a daily demand, into this 215.75 to 16.29, which is an hourly supply. So I mean the daily supply, bottom of daily supply at 214.76. I know I said demand, but the supply of daily supply 214.76 into this hourly supply of 215.75 to 216.29 with a strong push above 211.19. But that would take quite a bit of news. So if you were to play that whole day, just watch it for intraday. If you want to do the overnights, just be careful since market can flip for any given reason, really, at this point. Another thing, another one I wanted to watch for, which is Amazon. It's one of my general plays I like to do. When I do this, I am looking at a Fibonacci bounce. So I see that we have went into this 210 to 50% fib level. We're in above the 61.8 fib level at 209.84. What I want to see for tomorrow is how we're going to react is if we're going to push above the 210 or the 50% retracement, or if we're going to bounce this 209.84. Possibility that we do come down, test this 61.8. This would be an entry and push above, or if we can push above in the pre-market, watch for retracement into this 50% 50% Fibonacci retracement into 210.80, and having your entry price there with your stop loss below 209.84. If you don't want to risk that whole dollar, then just do slightly below that 50% retracement, the 210.80, and just free entry if you see support or a bounce at 209.84. If we lose that 209.84, we don't really have much of a bounce to 208.09, 207.60. So, but for me, ideally, I would like to see strength pushed above the 210.80, and then your target price would be this bottom of the supply at 213.20. If we're to break above 214.46, we do have another supply up above here at 217.38 to 218.59. Generally, if we're seeing into this supply zone, I want to see more strength and a push up with a little stair step pattern would be ideal for me, or a rapid move to the upside, as it is just a rapid rally above with a pullback and a retest to the top before it bounce up and another move up. AMD, nada. NVIDIA, I see more continuation in NVIDIA and AMD. Honestly, for AMD, you could look for a price target of 118.38 as a top, and before the pullback, testing that 114.84 range again. For NVIDIA, I do want to see more uptrend. Seems that we are showing some strength going into this support and resistance range at 131.23. And one thing I would like to see for tomorrow is a retest at 131.23 before it push up, targeting this 140.54 range. Or needs another support and resistance at that's 140.54. So AMD and NVIDIA and Amazon, NVIDIA and Amazon are my top two individuals that I would be looking for into the market, with IWM and SPY looking for a push up above, as well following Amazon and NVIDIA. But on the other hand, if they do show weakness in the market, showing like we're going to top down, and I'd be looking for those bounces at the bottom, on the downtrend. That would complete tonight's video, or tonight's watch list. I'm glad that you watched the video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And as always, I'm not a financial advisor. I do not recommend you day trading or using my analysis to trade. But if you do wish to use my analysis, just keep in mind I cannot be held liable for any profits or losses that you incur while using my analysis. I generally encourage you to study, use YouTube, and read some books and do some paper trades before entering into the market with real money. Or paper trades are just fake money. And that way you can hone your strategy before risking any profit or losses. Might not be on tomorrow. Might be on the road traveling again. But just keep in mind that I'm on a vacation this week, so I'm trying to make as many videos as I can this week. Yeah, good night.